What is up, my pretties? It's the Lion Queen here, and welcome to episode 272 of Shadows and Pretties. So, the last movie we reviewed was another movie by Stephen King called Maximum Overdrive. Today, we are going to be, pretty much reviewing this movie, and this movie has Arnold Schwarzenegger, which most of you guys should know who he is. He was in Kindergarten Cop and stuff. So for those of you who know who he is, probably should know that he's also in this movie. Now, this movie is based on this the novel from 1982 of the same names, The Running Man. So this movie came out in 1987. So this movie stars Arnold Schwarzenegger in this movie, which he's one of the only actors know he stars in it. So this movie, honestly, I have not remembered watching this movie, and I don't even remember too much from this movie actually because I haven't watched this film in like a really, really long time. But I mean, the fact is that Christopher Reeves was once attached to play as Ben Richards, so eventually Paul Michael Glaser said that he was originally going to approach a direct film, but he declined because he felt that the pre-production of the film was insignificant. So yeah. Anyway, Schwarzenegger, who has stated that he was a terrible decision, as Glazer shot the movie like it was a television show, losing all the deeper themes. But despite that, I thought this film was actually pretty neat. I mean, I haven't watched this movie in like a really long time. I mean, the last time I actually watched this movie, it was about a few was like years ago actually, but this is honestly a really awesome movie. I personally really liked it. I thought it was a great film. So, most of you guys who know who he is, I think we should go ahead and, get started with my review on this movie. So, anyways, I am going to be explaining the film about what the Running Man is, in case for any of you guys who don't remember watching the movie, or for those who want a refresher, or for those who have not seen the movie. So, anyways, this takes place in 2017. The United States has become a totalitarian police state following a worldwide economic collapse. The government pacifies the populace through the violent TV shows, as it's the most popular being The Running Man. Uh, pretty much a broadcast game show where criminals fight for their lives as the runners, fleeing from armed mercenaries called stalkers, to earn government pardon and on a trip on in a tropical vacation. So Captain Ben Richards, a police helicopter pilot, observes as an unarmed food riot in Bakersfield, California. He is then ordered to open fire on them, but he refuses and is subdued due to his colleagues. So the media blames Richards for shooting 60 people, and he gets sent to a prison labor camp. 18 months later, he escapes with two residence fighters, Harold West and William Laughlin, and they're finding themselves in the refugee camp in by their leader, Mick, the residence group, who looks into hijack the ICS broadcast network uplink facilities to expose the government's lies. Richard declines to help and then heads for his younger brother's for his apartment, aka Edward, only to find it was now occupied by the Amber Mendes. A composer and now his brother have been sent to a re-education camp. With Mendes' security travel pass, Richards then makes Mendes hostage to free Hawaii, but unfortunately he gets arrested at the airport when Mendes alerts the security. So meanwhile, Damien Killen, the charmistic immortal host of the Running Man, becomes armored by Richard's physical power, prowess, and notorious reputation as a murderous madman. Killian and coincides Richards to participate in the show, now threatening to send Laughlin and West to Steed, while meanwhile Amber sees a news report stating that Richards shot people at the airport, which she is now untrue. As the game begins, Richard is rocket sledded into an abandoned part of Los Angeles, only to his horror and outrage seeing that the West and Laughlin are now accompanying him. They are first attacked by the stalker Sub-Zero, but Richards garrotes him with a section of razor wire fencing, and for the first time a stalker has ever died on the show. Mendines then find the original unedited footage of the Bakersfield massacre. However, she gets caught and then gets sent into the game zone, joining the other three contestants. Killian now deploys two stalkers, Buzzsaw and Dynamo, to hunt for the other four runners. Wiz realizes that the government TV satellite uplink station, to which his underground residence has been searching for, is now located on the game show arena. Dynamo electrocutes Wiz, but as he cracks the satellite security, but the Mendines have a memorialized access code, and Buzzsaw mortally wounds Lachlan, but Richards bisects Buzzsaw with his own chainsaw, and Dynamo is decapitated by Richards, who is then spared Stalker live on air. Laughlin then tells Richards that his resistance to a hidden base in the arena before dying from his wounds. Well, meanwhile, off the air, Killian offers Richards a position as a stalker, to which enraged Richards as he refused. Hunted by Fireball, a flamethrower welding stalker with the jetpack Mendines finds the corpses of the show's alleged past winners, revealing that the show's promises pardons are all false. Richards then saves Mendines and then kills Fireball by sabotaging his gas tank by setting him alight with the road flare. Immediately afterwards, the pair then stumbles onto Mick's comrade center. With the viewership now cheering for Richards, Killian asks Captain Freedom, a retired stalker and a fan favorite, to join the hunt. When Captain Freedom refuses to fight using the mechanical weaponry instead of his bare hands, the network doctors old footage to depict that Richards and Mendines are being killed by the attack of the ICS building, with the residents' members using the access codes they had broadcast with the original footage of the Bakersfield massacre, and now the deceased runners, to expose Killian and the government's lies. As a resistance to the fighters' battle, ICS security forces, Dynamo tries to violate Amber. However, her gun triggers the building's sprinkler system, which electrocutes him. Richards confronts Killian, who desperately pleads for the show's appeases to the public's lust for violence. But Richards forces Killian into a rocket-powered sled, jetsoning him down to the game zone, to which that causes him to fatally crash through his own billboard image as the audience celebrates. Richard reunites with Mendines, departing from the studio as the broadcasting as the network goes down, thus how the movie ends. Now, this is actually a quite amazing storyline. I mean, especially with the fact that this has Arnold Schwarzenegger in this movie. It's a really great movie by Stephen King. I mean, I've not read the book, but the movie of its own self seems pretty interesting. Like, I really do think that this was an awesome movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger in it, because I like a lot of films with him in it. I mean, he was a great idol in the 80s and even the 90s. The 90s he did pretty good too, as well as the early 2000s, but I liked him back in the 90s too cuz well, he did have, he was funny in some movies like Kindergarten Cop, which that happens to be one of my all-time favorite movies with him in it, which I do plan to review sometime. I still gotta review it because it's a pretty funny movie. In my honest opinion, I give this another watch over for the first time in like a few years, and I personally still like it. It's still a good movie, even though it came out in the 80s. I still like a lot of movies from the 80s because when it comes to 1980s movies, you can never be sure or know what is actually about to happen until you actually see it happen for, first time or whatever. It's a pretty good film. So, with all due reality and all due honesty, I recommend this movie. If you're an Arnold Schwarzenegger fan, you would really like this movie. This is it's an older movie, but it's a really good movie, especially for anybody who's a Stephen King fan like myself. Now, I haven't really watched Arnold Schwarzenegger's too much, but in my honest opinion, I personally really enjoy this. This is honestly a really good film. So, do I recommend this Stephen King movie? Yes. I do recommend this for anybody who is a fan of Stephen King. I highly recommend you check out this movie. So, anyways, with that being said, and that being the case, like I'm just gonna say before, this is just simply my own personal opinion. And if you happen to disagree with me, that's perfectly fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions in regards to these movies. This is just my own personal thoughts. If you do not like this movie, I respect your opinion. If you like this movie, I respect your opinion as well. And yeah, I mean, I personally really like the fact that Arnold Schwarzenegger got to be in a Stephen King film, which is honestly pretty awesome because you don't see actors that are famous for other movies to be in this, but surprisingly, this one is. But in my honest opinion, I personally really think that this is a really great movie. So, yeah, if you're an Arnold Schwarzenegger fan like myself, and especially if you like movies with him like Kindergarten Cop or whatever, I personally will say right now that this is honestly a really great film. So, anyways, what did you guys think of this movie? Let me know what you guys all think in the comments below. So, as always, I'm going to sit here and say right now, I am the Lion Queen. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you're new to my channel, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. Ring the bell for notifications to when I upload, so that way you guys will not miss an upload. And as always, I am going to sit here and say right now that, yeah, be sure to like this channel if you haven't and like this video. If you're going to comment and subscribe, feel free to do so. And also, if you are interested in following my, well, DeviantArt account as well as my back as well as my Twitter account, feel free to go leave my leave those to a follow below, as links to those will be in the About page section of the channel. Also, if you're interested in subscribing to my backup channel known as Miss Dark Shigo, link to that will be in the About page section of the channel down below. Well, in this channel, there will be an About page section where you'll see it. So, anyways, I guess with that being the case, and with that being said, what did you guys personally think? And if I missed anything, please let me know in the comments below. And so, yeah, I'll be seeing you guys all in the next video. Peace out. And like always, I'll see you all next time.